Welcome to day 2 of Sci-Fi 2020. Today we have an exciting lineup of panels for you all centered on the pandemic and how we have tackled it. The first, In Search of Panacea, Tech in Times of Crisis. Secondly, we look into digital rights and inclusion after the pandemic. And thirdly, the Plandemic Planet, how we have been battling the infodemic. But before all of that, I want to extend a warm welcome to S. Iswaran, the Minister for Communications and Information, as well as Cybersecurity for Singapore. Thank you, Minister, and over to you.
Dr. Samir Saran, Chair of Sci-Fi, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to all of you. Let me start by thanking the Observer Research Foundation for the kind invitation to speak today. Our topic of discussion, digital innovation, is timely and apt against the backdrop of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. As many have observed, a silver lining of the pandemic is that it has accelerated digital adoption. A good example is how conferences like Sci-Fi are now almost entirely virtual. Many digital tools and platforms such as video conferencing and on-demand delivery were already available pre-COVID-19 but were not widely used. The pandemic has catalyzed the deployment and adoption of digital solutions and services across all segments of the economy and society. There is now a broad consensus that digital technology is a critical enabler of our pandemic response and post-pandemic recovery. Today, governments and businesses are surging ahead with digital innovation to reap its benefits. However, we also need an equally vigorous and concerted effort to address and mitigate the downsides and attendant risks. A laissez-faire approach may cause citizens to be lulled into a false sense of security or even lose trust in digital services because of privacy breaches. Societies may also fragment along the fault lines of the digital haves and have-nots. We must therefore strike a careful balance between spurring creativity and innovation on one hand, while safeguarding privacy, advancing security, and reducing inequalities on the other. With lockdowns and safe distancing measures becoming commonplace, digital technologies have become a vital part of many countries' pandemic strategy and response. Necessity, as they say, is the mother of invention. I understand that in India, drones have been deployed in creative ways to help in the fight against the pandemic, from delivering medical supplies and personal protective equipment to healthcare workers, to disinfecting public spaces like airports and railway stations. Drones are even being used in the dissemination of information by broadcasting public health announcements in rural areas. Similarly, in Singapore, the foundations laid by our past investments in digital technologies have been critical in our pandemic response. Over the years, we have established a resilient network and digital infrastructure, while continually promoting digital skills and literacy. The value of our efforts came to the fore during the pandemic. When our schools had to close for several months, for example, we were able to quickly implement full home-based learning because of our high household internet penetration rate and our teachers' and students' prior practical experiences with online learning. We also enhanced our assistance schemes to help lower-income families cope with the increased need for devices like laptops and connectivity. In tandem, we established the Singapore Digital Office with 1,000 digital ambassadors. Their mission is to encourage and support the hardest to reach segments of society to adopt digital tools. And through this initiative, we have enhanced our outreach tool and strengthened digital literacy and access among our seniors and micro, small, and medium enterprises. Singapore has also developed digital contact tracing solutions while implementing the essential safeguards to secure the privacy of our citizens' data. For example, we developed Trace Together, which is the world's first Bluetooth contact tracing app, and Safe Entry, a digital check-in system for public venues such as malls and workplaces. To protect privacy, TraceTogether does not collect the geographical locations of users or access users' phone contact lists or address books. Instead, TraceTogether only detects proximity via Bluetooth with other TraceTogether users. The data collected is also encrypted, and in a similar vein, the data collected by Safe Entry is only accessed by authorities when required for contact tracing purposes. Both applications have contributed significantly to the safe reopening of our economy. While the economic impact has been severe, the pandemic is also an opportunity to reinvent how we do things. More than ever, enterprises need to go digital to overcome current challenges, enhance business resilience, and seize new digital opportunities. For example, the ability to conduct business online across borders has become an important way to strengthen global supply chains. It has enabled businesses to connect to global markets for supplies or solutions and expand their customer base internationally. In Singapore, the government is helping our companies make this transition by increasing funding support and expanding the scope of our digital solutions under our SMEs Go Digital program. To enable businesses to operate digitally across borders despite travel restrictions, we launched the SMEs Grow Digital initiative. India has been our key valued partner in this effort through the collaboration on the Business Sans Borders initiative. It provides SMEs seamless access to large ecosystems of buyers, sellers, logistics, financing, and digital solution providers, connecting them to the global marketplace. Data is the foundation of the global digital economy, and facilitating cross-border data flows will be key to its continued growth. That is why Singapore has developed an international network of digital economy agreements with like-minded countries to build interoperable digital systems and frameworks for safe data flows and electronic transactions. To date, Singapore has signed DEAs with New Zealand, Chile, and Australia, and talks are ongoing with the Republic of Korea. We have also concluded a memorandum of intent with the International Chamber of Commerce and leading industry players to adopt open and neutral frameworks like Trade Trust for digitalizing trade documents such as e-bills of lading. However, cross-border transfers of data and information technologies can only occur if there is mutual trust. And to foster that trust, countries must put in place laws and common standards to ensure that there are safeguards for the protection of cross-border data flows. These regulations, such as the APEC cross-border privacy rules, provide assurance that personal data transferred overseas is handled with care and used only for legitimate purposes. There is much potential for Singapore to work together with India and other countries to maximize the value of data and enable better outcomes for our businesses and consumers. In conclusion, digital innovation has been key in our response to COVID-19, and it will underpin our post-pandemic recovery. To maximize its benefits for the long run, we will require a finely calibrated strategy and policies to reap the upsides while managing the downsides of digital technology, with greater international cooperation to enhance the interoperability of systems across borders. Platforms such as Sci-Fi make an important contribution to this global effort by bringing us together for an open, inclusive, and constructive dialogue. I'm confident that Sci-Fi will continue to go from strength to strength and wish everyone a fruitful discussion ahead. Thank you.